estate broker trying to use a leverage to get a good real estate deal, whether it's Mar-a-Lago or golf resort. I think he's doing something like this by, for example, bombing Iran or forcing them to get to the negotiation table, similar to the tariffs. I know we're not talking about tariffs, but he doesn't really believe in those terms, percentages against the leverage against those other countries. The same thing that the bombing of the nuclear facilities in Iran. I think I'm just completely BSing here. I think he just wants to be the deal maker and then to get credit for how wonderful he is and to win a Nobel Prize. Even he announced in the total obliteration message that he ended with, "Now let's get to peace." So it's like he bombs you, and then he says, "Come back to the negotiation table." It's kind of like carrot and stick. He gives you a big steak, and then he goes, "Here's the carrot." And then afterwards, he's going to say, "Look, I fed these people. I gave them carrots. I made peace." So this is probably why he's so pissed at Netanyahu. And possibly, if I can extrapolate a little bit, maybe this attacking June 21st by Netanyahu against Israel, there is a possibility that it was not with the complete blessing of the U.S. And maybe that's got Trump upset because he viewed himself as the big brother and Netanyahu as the small brother, like a subordinate. Certainly maybe he's entitled to think that way, knowing although Israel is a separate country with sovereignty itself, but the view of himself perhaps would just be, how can you do things without my approval? And now, even after he announced the peace deal, maybe Trump is upset that, again, I'm assuming that Netanyahu did not notify Trump they were going to retaliate. So Trump seems to be surprised and upset. Anyway, the bottom line, it seems to be Trump is really the party of Trump. Whether you're Republican or Democrat, or whether you're a foreign country or UN, it just seems to matter very little. It's just everything is about Trump himself. If you're in his way, whoever you are, wherever you have been, you have done for him or against him, you're not going to be on his good side. And maybe that's how the F-bomb came out. By the way, maybe this is a start that Congress will start thinking about getting rid of those 7 words on public television. That's not public television. I guess it's free television, and not. I'm not
right, broadcasting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Ben. We're going to move along very quickly here. No additional people will be invited onto the stage. We're going to try to get to everybody who's on the stage as we go into extra time with Hermes, our next.
Thank you. Good afternoon or good evening, everyone. So I think to the question above, it may be that way if Trump cannot benefit in some kind of way, right? In his perception, if he can't get a deal like the money he got in Saudi Arabia, he's probably gonna back out, right? There's always that motivating factor with him, and I did see when he said the F-bomb. And I saw it on social media, which they don't edit that out. They don't beep it out. They let you hear it. And you're right. There was a person that spoke earlier that said that, we saw the typical New Yorker. I think she was absolutely right. The New Yorker came out, and he was clearly pissed because...
What the F are you talking about?
Right, exactly. So, there's an old saying, and I'm sure you've heard this, that it's hard to trust people that don't drop the F-bomb, because when they drop the F-bomb, you know what they're thinking. So, but thank you, Gary, for the mic.
Thank you, Hermes. And we'll now go to Dave. And I will clarify this by saying Dave Litz.
Thank you very much. Gary, the big picture. Let's say you're alien and you look at, US, right? And you look at what people have been talking for the last, 30, 40 minutes. I think it's a very good resource to make a Saturday night live sketch. They're all talking about small little thing. What is the big thing? The big thing is the Jewish people in Israel, they need a can opener. That's all. That's the whole thing. They need a can opener. They have all the weapons, but they don't have the can opener for photo. And they just ask Trump, we need to have your can opener. And then they just say, okay, let's figure out a sketch, a comedy, or whatever, something entertaining to wrap the whole thing. But in the end, the US job is just go in and open the can, right? So what happened? 12 bomb, right? 12 penetration bomb. And from the satellite picture, you see 2 clusters, each one 3 holes, very close to each other, right? And 12 bombs, so 2 per each hole, right? So, I mean, the prior speaker has no technical knowledge, right? So you went 60 over meter, and the next one, same hole, and then all the way down to 90 over meters, right? So you have 3 holes per cluster, 6 bomb per 1 cluster, it will do the job. But the whole thing is the can opener, because once you open the can, the IDF say, thank you, President Trump, the rest we can do, because the facility is open. That's all. That's all the role of United States, right? And then
So to your point, just to support what you're saying, maybe a little more succinctly if you don't mind, is that it is true that those 3 facilities were targets of subsequent Israeli attacks, subsequent, I say, to the bunker bomb and Tomahawk missile firings. So while the president immediately said that it was obliterated, obviously the Israeli intelligence thought otherwise, because had it been obliterated, there would not have been the need for those subsequent attacks, and that's exactly what Israel did. Now they're being told basically by the president, you cannot continue with these subsequent attacks. I don't know whether that's satisfactory to Jerusalem or not, because I don't know what their assessment is of whatever damage they were able to do following the U.S. attacks. But that's a very good point.
No, Gary, the whole point is there's no more place in Iran IDF cannot reach anymore. There's no more dangerous military place.
They've got command of the skies. That's exactly.
Exactly, and there's no more place, because the deep place that Iran planning for decades is now can open. That's the whole
Right.
part.
It's not just that. It's not just that. We haven't discussed it because we're so hyper focused on the nuclear, but it's also the ballistic. What they have been trying to do is find as best they can, and they've been very successful, but of course they obviously haven't gotten all of them, is to degrade their ballistic missile launching capabilities. So one assessment that I heard was that they've eliminated 60%. That sounds pretty good, but that just means that there's 30% that, or 40%, my math is great, that still hasn't been put offline. And now, because of the president's response to the Israeli response to the Iranian breaking of the ceasefire, because the optics of that's not so good to the president, who already claimed total victory and that he brought peace in our time. So he was really pissed off. Well, Israel can't continue that either. And if I was Israel, the more immediate concern would be getting rid of their ballistic opportunities. Even if they were, the nuclear program was kicked back 9 or 10 years, the ballistic opportunities have to be eliminated as well. And they have the opportunity to do it because, as you pointed out, they have command of the skies. And furthermore,
Every military place, every military installation.
right. And that's the big point.
That's the big point. The rest is, that is just optic. The rest is
Right.
like, whether there's any...
That's a big point in terms of public perception, because there are all these demonstrations, the damn Israelis and the Americans are going after the Iranian people. They've been very careful to only attack military installations with these airstrikes. So what's the problem? Because these military installations are being used to attack Israel and by extension, to attack Ukraine by providing weaponry to the Russians, and furthermore, prove a threat to portions of Europe. So, of course, it's the correct thing to do to go after these military installations. So, we should all keep that in mind when we hear people criticize what the Israelis are doing in Iran, or what they were doing, or what the United States did in Iran. I don't believe there were, with all of that tonnage of hold on a second, David.
Yeah.
With all the tonnage of that U.S. attack, the Iranians are reporting 0 casualties. 0. So what's the problem? I don't understand why people are objecting so much to what the United States and what Israel did. Okay, David, go ahead.
They just see the world from the pinhole. People in 80% of Iranian now are printing Donald Trump picture and put it on the street and say thank you very much. And people in Israel are decorating with big American flag and so on. But another big picture is, if Netanyahu do not act, and he understood, and if the threat of nuclear weapon is real, and then there will be a major setback back to before 1948, and the people, Jewish everywhere, have to start during Sabbath and say next year in Jerusalem. And this decision prevented that. It's the new future. Thank you very much, Gary.
I suspect that there will be asymmetric attacks against Iran in the future. So fasten your seatbelt. David.
Hey, Gary. Another great day in the forum. I don't know. I don't think Washington. I think Trump would like more than anything to fool himself into thinking that this attack wiped everything out, brought everybody to the table. Everybody shook hands, and now I'm on my way to a Nobel Peace Prize. I think he's lashing out with regard to he's potentially undermining this big grand peace deal that he cut. He's been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize by Pakistan. Obviously, there's been some disagreement as to whether or not he was really involved in that in a way that he was, particularly coming on the Indian side. But I think at the end of the day, if we look at the reports and we look at the feedback, Israel's ambassador to the UN says it's too early to tell. This has been reported that we've wiped out their nuclear. I think Israel has to be cautious. They have to trust but verify, and verify a lot. And the only way you're going to verify is to have Iran open up its doors, bring in those inspectors, and look at the damage, and they need to cough up this other enriched uranium that's who knows where. And a lot of the uranium, by the way, Gary, that was enriched is in these canisters that are very difficult to destroy. And so, if they can get those out, there's a lot of that that's also to be accounted for. So I think at the end of the day, while Trump wants the optics of a huge peace win to add to his other accolades of peace negotiation from the Abraham Accords forward, we need to bring Iran into the sunlight. And I don't think we can speculate based upon some bombs, based upon Iranians taking over the airspace, which many have argued is, questionable or not. But you're right, there are ballistic missiles that Iran can still mass and array against Israel, as well as the enemies of America. So, but what does the United States do in the interim? I think at the end of the day, we need to somehow bring them to the table again and put together that JCPOA deal, but with a lot more teeth that Obama had structured. Because without the inspection, Gary, I think this is a hollow victory. And without the the powers that be, where is the Ayatollah? Has he surfaced? I mean, we don't even know where this guy is. So, what is happening behind the scenes? We've seen incursions by China into the fray, and what's going on with those back channelings. Putin's entered into a 20-year agreement, economic agreement with Iran, although they're saying it's not militarily based. How can it not be? So there's a lot of moving parts here, Gary. I think the Israelis have a right to be cautious. I think irrespective of Trump's desire for a Nobel, I think he's going to have to, put that aside until we actually get the job. And I think the only way we get the job done is to put boots on the ground, not actual troops, but the monitors of the program, and have an accounting of where those other rich uranium deposits are. And of course, any other intelligence that can be gathered to make the area a lot safer. Otherwise, Gary, I think it's just that. It's a hollow victory. And of course, I think he was also upset as well because he's got this rabid right-wing base out there on the talk show circuit, completely challenging our right to defend Israel, completely challenging our right to be involved this way. And a lot of those voices aren't going away, Gary, I'm afraid to say. And whether or not they play into the 2026 midterms, I think that's going to have a lot of import going forward. And I'll end there. Thanks.
David, what is the temperature in sunny California?
Well, we've got some beautiful balmy trade winds, about 75 today, I believe.
In central New Jersey, from where I'm emanating, 102. We beat out Death Valley. 102.
I drink a lot of water.
Oh, I know. I gotta walk out the door into a blast furnace to get to work. Oh, yeah. Dominic. So, aren't you sitting on the dock of the bay, though? No, I know where you are. Don't think you can escape me, buddy. I know exactly.
So much of this is painted by sort of a dislike for Donald Trump, and I appreciate that. I want to talk about this notion of credibility.
This is the latest blood glucose, blood pressure, and oxygen measurement device developed by St. Thomas Hospital in London. Simply clip it onto your finger.
Can y'all please pretend I'm famous? I want
Claimed by the government, capital G, that a newly elected president was a spy for Russia, and that he should be impeached for that. I was wondering, who retains credibility from that?
Well, first of all, I don't know whether that was a claim from the government.
Well, obviously,
There were some elements of the government.
elements. Excuse me.
And secondly, what does that have to do with today's discussion?
But it has to do with credibility, which is part of today's discussion. So I just wanted to make that point to get everyone off their high
Well, this is a problem that we have in our discourse here on the stage, because I cannot criticize the current president, whoever that president may be, now or in the future, no matter what party that president is a member of, because if the next president is a Democrat, if he does anything that is deserving of critique, somebody's going to come up on the stage and say, well, what about what Donald Trump did? Donald Trump was much worse. So I think we have to, at the moment in hand, take a snapshot and not a panoramic view of history, and look at what's going on today, because these are very serious matters at hand. So whether a person's motivation is political or not, if the criticism is legitimate, we should accept the criticism.
We should
If it's
accept
not,
it.
if it's not legitimate, then we should challenge it.
Thank you.
I don't care what
Thank
their
you.
motivation is, so long as the person is.
So if we get to the point that we say that the use of the word obliterate was quoted contextually, we might, I mean, we don't have time to do this because I wanted to get the text of the president's comment and list it against what the claim is of what he said. And there is a distinction between the two, and we could do it at another time. But the claim that he said that the program was obliterated is not true. He didn't say that. But I understand that for the purposes of argumentation, that saying that he said that creates a dialogue and a need for argumentation. But the president didn't say that. So it's sort of like nobody said that. You did say, Gary. I wonder if it is relevant. The way George Bush said, "Mission accomplished." Remember that?
Yep.
And we said, "Oh, that sounds like George Bush." What President Trump said. Contextually, it's just not true. The two are completely distinct because Trump did not make the claim that the program was obliterated. But I just, so much has been said that I'm having a hard time being concise in my criticism. I do want to say that I agree with Anson's earlier comments, which is like an hour.
Okay, in fairness,
Yeah.
he did not say the entire program was obliterated.
Thank you.
He said that the U.S. strikes had completely and totally obliterated Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities.
Key nuclear enrichment sites.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, but
Thank you.
okay,
Yeah,
fine,
I'm done.
fine. So let's be nuanced.
I'm done.
No, you're not done. You're far from done. No. We're not going to allow for hit and runs here, buddy. No. So the question then today, in absolute fairness to what the president said, was, were those key nuclear enrichment facilities obliterated? And the DIA, hold on, let me finish before you respond to me. And the DIA today said that while the strikes inflicted serious damage, that the program was not destroyed.
Okay, I'm going to quote you right now.
Oh.
You just said that the program was not destroyed. You did
Oh,
not
for
say.
F's sake, to quote the President of the United States.
Oh, okay.
The program at those three facilities, because obviously the United States attacked three facilities. So let me say it in terms that is acceptable to Dominic. The program at those three facilities. Are you happy now?
Why don't we just say the key of what the president said? Why don't we just quote the president?
Right, and the question does not change. The question does not change even if people were not as specific in their quotation of the president. So if you want to make this a discussion of how people interpret what the president said and how it's not fair the way they interpret it, then fine. You could do that. But that's not the discussion. The discussion is he came out hours after the attack and said that the program was obliterated at those three locations. And the next morning, the chairman of the Chief Joints of Staff was more tempered in his response and said, we don't know if that's true. And now we see that the Defense Intelligence Agency says that the initial assessment is that the president was wrong. Those three key facilities were not obliterated. So why don't we just focus on that. Please.
Okay, so, thank you for that, for engaging me in that, Gary. I appreciate it. Otherwise, I was just going to say thanks for the, I appreciate it, love you.
I love debating with Dominic. Rooster.
I'd say it was your manifest destiny not to.
To
You only got fall
answer
for big boy
the
there.
question
And
we
Harry
talked
used to
about
call them
is the
empties.
U.S.
Plant one and watch
washing
them
its
die.
hands of the Iranian threat. I say that's not the right or fair question. And the reason I say that is because the U.S. was never in this war. This was Bibi's war. He has been saying since 1996 that Iran is months away from getting a bomb. And I'm not denying that this time he may or may not be right, but he's been saying that since 1996. The fact is that Trump did not want Israel to attack. He was trying to negotiate. The U.S. public, as we know, both the Democrats and the MAGA base have no appetite for another prolonged Middle Eastern war. He wanted to negotiate, get a big, beautiful deal, and brag about it. He was under pressure from Bibi. And really, from the reporting I've read, he gave up when he realized the Iranian side, the Ayatollah, was playing games. So from one side, from the allies and from many forces in the U.S., he was under pressure. Other side, he realized his Iranian counterparts were playing game and really not willing to give up the enrichment. He reluctantly said okay to the war. Again, at that point, I don't think he wanted U.S. to participate. I would suggest he reluctantly dropped the bomb, dropped the bunker busting bombs, and at that moment it looked like a success. He dropped the bomb, it's over, the nuclear program's gone. Turns out that may not be the case. But I suggest the better question we should ask is that should the U.S. wash its hands off the Iranian threat? Personally, I say no. The elephant in the room that is not discussed is the regime, and the word I never hear is regime change. As Anson earlier suggests that they can enrich in a closet. They can always have a secret program. And the fact is that the bomb is not the only threat from this regime. There's ballistic missiles, there's terrorism around the world, there's the proxies. It's just bad news. I think the free world has an interest in Iran putting this regime in history books and moving forward to the next chapter. And I say that with recognition that there is human loss on the Iranian side. I know Israel has been precise, but there has been, I have personal friends that I talk to, the number of casualties are, I don't want to comment on them. It's not a free country. I don't really know what the information I get, how correct they are, but there has been human loss. But the fact is that the regime already started executing people with a little chance they got from the ceasefire, accusing them of being Israeli spies and taking care of all sorts of different categories of opposition after the ceasefire started. I just say we can't keep kicking this can down the road. The regime has to go, and I hope that the Western world would realize that sooner than later. Thank you, Gary.
I don't know whether the United States should have gotten into the Vietnam War or not. History might suggest not, but we were in that war. And there's been a lot of postscript analysis suggesting that that war might have ended differently had Nixon and then Johnson not been so reticent to
my friend
against the head of the beast and attack Hanoi. And so if you're going to get into a war, which you should think very
my friend.
carefully about doing, and whether it's justified or not.
I'm about to be a speaker on Gary
carry it out to the
Baumgarten's
end.
critical thinking, but
Because if you
sometimes he
don't,
brings me up on stage and then he never calls on me. Such a prick.
Earlier, right in the beginning, when I quoted somebody who challenged me on this, what have you accomplished by killing all these people? And you're exactly right. The
I'll be right
regime
back.
remains in place. We were hearing analyses recently from people on this stage, Iranians, that the regime was right now, as a result of all this, on the verge of toppling. I don't know whether that's true, but if it's so, why do you stop? I don't get it. Let's not make any mistake about what's going on here. It's not just that Iran is a sovereign nation, which is how people are viewing this, many people. The government of Iran is a terrorist organization. I'm not going to go through the entire litany of all of the terrorist attacks that have occurred. If you want to say, I don't care about those damn Iranians who are getting executed, that's their problem for being dissidents. That's their laws that they're violating. It has nothing to do with me. Who cares? All right, fine. Take that position. Not mine, but you could take that position. But what about all the other lives that have been lost outside of Iran by their exportation of terrorism? It's all on the record, including Americans who have died, not just people in the military, by the way. So this is not just a fight between Israel and Iran. It's primarily a concern for Israel because Iran has stated, the government of Iran has stated its intention to eliminate the state of Israel. This is why they fund Hamas. This is why they fund the Houthis. This is why they fund Hezbollah to do their fighting for them and other terrorist organizations. It's not Iranian soldiers marching in, but it's Iranian weaponry that's being used against Israel. So yes, primarily this is the future of the state of Israel, also a sovereign nation, their right to exist. Nobody's talking about eliminating Iran from the map, the way Iran and its proxies are talking about eliminating Israel from the map. People have to get the correct perspective about what's going on here and how Iran is a threat to all of us. They have a fatwa out on the President of the United States. They had a fatwa out on Salman Rushdie, and they finally got to him. They didn't kill him. They had, I forget how many millions of dollar bounty on the head of Salman Rushdie because they didn't like what he wrote in a book, because they found what he wrote blasphemous. So they put a hit out on Salman Rushdie, and now he is crippled for life and blind in one eye.
Gary, it's a toxic relationship.
What is?
Israel and Iran, they have a toxic relationship.
Okay, well, unfortunately, John, by the way, we're not going to get to you, but thank you for that.
Thank you very little, Gary. Thank you very little.
You're welcome very little. You came on the stage too late for us to get to you. It's nothing personal, but removing you from the stage is because you were disruptive. So anyway, toxic relationship. Sounds like you're talking about me and my ex-wife. What the hell are you talking about, toxic relationship? Anyway, people don't want to view it from that perspective. And so I'll just leave it at that, Rooster. I think history will show that stopping the prosecution of this war, which the United States, I'm not talking about the United States continuing, I'm talking about forcing Israel to stand down.
Thank you very little,
History
Jerry.
may very well prove this to be a mistake, and I'll let you respond to that before I get to our last to call.
Because like it's not a bunch of like dudes that are taking these
I'm sorry,
benefits
last thing you
anyway.
said, history.
They proved that it was a mistake
Oh
to
no,
stand down at this time.
I didn't take it that way.
Right,
Well, yeah.
that's the issue. I think we are so political as easy as there have ever been. I think the Iranian people have a chance to free themselves. But I'm not here. I was actually against this war to begin with. I thought it would make the regime stronger. That's a whole different topic. But now at this point, when you've done this much damage, I think there's a chance for the regime to go, for the head of the snake to go, and I wish more was done.
Thank you, Rooster. We'll let Brent and then Shane get the last word. Brent.
There's two things. One is I kind of fear we're in the worst of all worlds. That the attacks weren't successful in significantly delaying the program. That the Iranian logic to do a nuclear sprint is going to be more straightforward than ever. Nuclear deterrence does work. It does prevent a state from essentially attacking you, and that Trump himself or the president
My friends.
might not be up for another round. I think if
Good. How are you doing today? I'm just dealing with a little bit of allergies to pollen, but other than that, I'm too good. There you go, pollen schmallen. That's what I always like to say. Pollen in your pollen. You ever hear that one? Pollen in your pollen? That's a good. Well, maybe snot balls. Snot ball and shot call and snot ball. Alright, now I gotta carry all this wood. Anyway, this is another edition of Mere Terrorist Supporters. I figured I would ask, what's your vision for the future? Alternative titles for this room were Everything Insane, or another alternative
I talked to Amir.
Retarded.
I talked to Amir and Edward once. I was like, "Are you guys even involved in a peace movement?" And he's like, "I'm trying to start a nonprofit." And so my point is, what they're doing is not peace movement. What they're doing is terrorist. They are terrorist supporters, or they are. I came up with another term for it today. But the point is, my vision for the future is, Caddyshack, basically. I don't remember any terrorists on the golf course other than Judge Smales. So, if Judge Smales is the worst that it's going to get, which is a rich asshole who, demands everything, I mean, is that the worst that it can be? I mean, what's worse, Judge Smales or 100 Islamic jihadists with machine guns and grenades and rocket launchers that want to make you submit to Sharia, or you will die, in the conflict. So that's the way I see it. It's like black and white. It's crazy. It's crazy that, life is crazy. Reality is crazy.
Right, the world is weird.
I mean, Doc saw violence firsthand, I mean, do you think Iraq was justified? Do you think Afghanistan was justified? I mean, full withdrawals. I mean, not full withdrawals. I guess we still have the biggest embassy in the world in fucking Iraq, which is like acting as
I think it's funny that we used to run away. Like, I used to run away from the police because I was smoking weed in the middle of the woods. And somebody smelled weed in the woods, and they would call the police, and the police would come to the middle of the woods and try to bust us for smoking weed. Then we would have to run away into the woods, away from the police who wanted to arrest us for smoking weed.
like Lord of the Flies.
Speaking of allergies. And now you can just go buy it in a store.
It's so crazy what we were doing to ourselves as citizens, It's the prohibition. It's not new. Think about all the people that got arrested during the 20s for prohibition. So there's always something that is prohibition. I don't know what it is now. I mean, is it just the N-word, F-word?
Right, it's a prohibition on the N-word and the F-word. People go to jail for that. People go to jail for bravely using the N-word and the F-word.
I got called the F word today by Ben Mendelsohn. He said I'm an F word loser. And it's just like you can,
Fucking F-word.
yeah, you can see how it like shakes people when they know that somebody is filming them and putting them on YouTube. They're just like, motherfucking faggot, fucking loser.
I don't know if you were as well aware of this as I am, because it's about me. It's not about you. But JB hates me now. He hates me.
Yeah, he thinks that what I did was you.
Wait, what? That I called him a grifter?
Used his name in a title, called him a grifter, etc. Like he associates you with me, therefore he hates you, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but he's removed me from the room for like 5 days now in a row. Like I go into the room, I'm just listening for a while, and then you have been removed from the room.
Yeah,
And
I've been
that's
live streaming
amazing.
him.
Yeah, because he was very triggered. When I called him a grifter, it must have touched a nerve, you know? I mean, if I call you the F word, you're going to be like, oh yeah, like, and F word to you too, you know? But if, I don't even know what would touch a nerve for you, and I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but like, clearly it hurt his feelings that I called him a grifter. And as a result, he now hates me forever.
It really doesn't matter because technically when you start filming them and putting them on other platforms, they're really doing the work of content for you. So I have no, anger against any of these people. They are fully automated for your distribution. And that's why I told you, like, you're either a fly or a spider or a fish or the fisherman with the net. I mean, if you want to just keep being the dinner, for people, that's okay. But the point is, they are fully automated for your distribution and potential opportunity. Like, this app is a goldmine of content. And if they can't kick in with this anonymous feature, it disrupts their flow. It disrupts what they're doing every single day in their life, which is laying in bed, being depressed, talking on Clown House all day long. So when you start recording them, and they know that they're being recorded, it adds a whole nother level to this game where it's obvious that people are just being political here. And that's really what's happening all the time, in every way, in every shape and form. It's all politics all the time.
Of course, a lot of people don't want to be held to account for the positions that they have on this thing. I mean, I don't care. If you meet me in real life, I'm not going to be behaving like I am on Clown House, but if you come up to me and act like we're on Clown House in real life, I'll act like I'm on Clown House in real life.
Yeah, I mean, people act differently, I'm sure, because there's a physical element where if you fuck around and you can find out in the real world by having your nose punched in.
100.
But here on this app, I mean, it's the whole thing what Socrates said. It's like philosophy's out of style. Too many people's noses are getting punched in.
Yeah, but I think the word you were looking, I came from Amir's room into this room, just so you know. But they're over there talking some bullshit, talking about baby killing and all this crap. And I was actually thinking of a word. I'm like, dude, you are nothing but an Islamic provocateur. How do you say it? Provocateur?
Provocateur.
Yeah,
he's an Asian provocateur.
That's all it is.
Yeah, my post on X I wanted to retitle it because I've just been calling them terrorist supporters. I should call them like Clubhouse terrorist promoters and terrorist supporters and potential terrorists, and then provide the FBI's number in Detroit. And I tagged all these Jewish organizations, American Jewish Committee. I used to volunteer with them, and so it got a lot of views, and it's making people think like, hey, what are people saying on these social audio platforms, whether it's X or Clubhouse or wherever? But I mean, the fact that they are essentially, like the Jihadist Janes or the Tokyo Sally or whatever the fuck their names are, how all these, in all of our wars, the enemy, they are doing what these other war experiences have done, which is create propaganda in order to essentially try to dissuade Americans and ruin morale and reprogram them and propagandize them. So,
Dude,
that's what's happening.
You gotta, start another. If you ever do another name or whatever, another account, you gotta call it like Islamic. You can't. Don't do it.
Islamic jihad. Can you make an?
No, I was gonna say. I was gonna. Oh no, that was what I was gonna say. Caliphate Production Company.
Yeah, I bet you the FBI has fake Wahhabist websites and everything. They're trying to gather
Oh God!
indexes.
What do you think the analysts do for the NSA?
Yeah.
All right, we got Ron Jones in the house. Ron, please join the house, Ron. Amir terrorist supporters. This is the cracker in the top left. Donate to my Cash App, Ron. So make sure to donate a lot of money
Overs.
to my Cash App.
Yeah, JB doesn't even get paid to be here. Hit up my Cash App. Hit it up.
If you don't, I'll kick you out, you piece of shit. You piece of garbage. How about this, you fucking piece of garbage?
It sounds like every other dumb room I go in here on the set.
Piece of garbage.
People always asking for money on this motherfucker.
It is a really stupid app.
Anyway, what? Sorry.
It's so obvious that it's such a waste of time here, and it's all politics. So it's like, if you're not actually using this for political purposes, unfortunately, you're just like the victim here on this app. I mean, I think there's like a talk therapy dopamine effect, which is happening, and that's why people are here. But if you're here talking, that means that like you don't have enough happening in the real world to keep you busy. And everything I'm saying applies to me. So, I mean, when
Oh, I resemble that remark.
Yeah. Hi, Danny.
Well, I am conscious. Sometimes I'm conscious of, like, all day.
Yeah.
It's like, damn.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm that way when I drink, because like drinking is kind of like conversating at a bar. And this is like doing it at the house without having to get in trouble with a DUI. But like, I've been sober since Saturday night, so tonight will end my 3-day fast.
Mazel tov, Baruch Hashem.
Yeah, well, thank you. Shabbat shalom.
Please donate to the Cash
I don't
App.
even know what it says.
Send me money to Cash App. Send me a picture of your boobs, Danny. Boobs to the Cash App, please. Thank you.
But no, but the thing is, like, when I don't drink though, when it comes to this app, when I don't drink, I'm only on here like maybe 1 or 2 hours a day. But when I'm drinking all day, I'll be on here all day.
Hello?
Well, I'm just interested. I'm just interested in like communication theory, like what's motivating us, what's causing all this to happen.
I'm working on the pasta right now. Jesus.
Danny looks like she just got off the set from Fiddler on the Roof. Hold on, Danny. Why don't you take care of your things at your house? We'll help you be productive by not bringing you up on stage. Because honestly, having never mind.
I use my Kugel noodles to make regular pasta, and I'm a little upset about it.
Danny, if I had a wife, I hate to tell you this, but if my wife used Clubhouse, it would be a big problem for our relationship. And I would have very little respect for her as my wife and as the mother of my children. That she is using a social audio chit-chat app to scramble her brains like eggs every day. That's just me. Now, I don't have a wife, and I don't even have a girlfriend. But I could tell you that if my significant other was wasting her whole fucking life on this stupid fucking app instead of taking care of business at home and taking care of shit that I need her to take care of, I'd be very upset with her.
Taking care of business and what else?
I still think I have more sex.
Meaning that your priorities or your focus has to be fucked. Because if my wife was on this stupid app, I would know that her focus is not on business and on shit that I need her to take care of, by default.
I tried to focus. Is this you today on the show?
Have as much fun as you want here, Danny, but I'm just warning you. Your fucking life has to be more miserable than it should be because of this stupid app. That's my opinion about the communication and what it does to your brain on this stupid
Look
app.
how good he looks on the show. This is so much fun. Did they have a makeup artist?
So, what is your vision for the future, Doc?
I see Doc as the next president.
No. I would not want that job.
If only he doesn't drink today.
Damn, Danny.
I'm on my 3-day fast right now, Danny.
Oh my God! Look at Zach's PTR, dude. He was on TV.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Why are they all holding chopsticks?
Holy shit! Look at that basket. Arc Maine.
Because we were doing a chopstick carving class at the Jewish Museum on Thursday.
Oh, that's cool.
So we were promoting the Jewish chopsticks, baby.
Dude, those could be huge.
I never had chopsticks in my Ashkenazi life.
You know, I met this guy I went to this like Jewish startup incubator event, and these are two products that I thought were interesting. One was the cannabis infused ice cream, and then the second was a matzah dessert cracker, where they take like caramel schmore chocolate, and then they like
matzah crack.
Yeah. So it was.
Yeah, that's so good.
Anyways, both those businesses I doubt ever took off, but just because food manufacturing is fucking very complicated and expensive, and food spoils, and there's got to be like shelf life. Like all this fucking food we eat is like only edible because of all the fucking preservatives they stick in it and food stabilizers to make the food actually not rot. So, but I congratulate you, my friend, on being on television. Do you have the YouTube clip? Can you post it to like your Instagrams? And make shorts of it? You should like totally edit it.
I should make some shorts. Yeah, I did. I should make shorts. That's a really good idea. I did post the clip to the Instagram on the Rewild Maine. What's up?
Yeah, Rewild Maine. So Danny,
It's on the Rewild Maine Instagram.
Danny, what's your vision for the future? What were you gonna say, Doc?
Lots of orgasms.
Cool. What were you gonna say, Doc? Never mind. I never should have asked.
Honestly, I should have done it this past semester, but I still think I might take some. I tried it in fall to go to cooking classes, and then I was gonna do it in spring, because when I showed up in fall, everybody was like 22 and younger. And I was like going to like meet chicks that I would potentially be able to date, and we can start a relationship on food, but I still might give it another shot.
What are you complaining about? 22-year-olds cooking cordon bleu? What's the problem here?
Well, I don't date women below the age of 40.
Oh, I see.
Wow.
Personal preference.
What about 39 though? I mean, 38, 37. Like seriously, what's the difference?
I might give you a waiver to get in the army.
Yeah. You're 15 and you want to go fight in Germany? Sign up here, soldier.
Could you get me? Hey, could you guys get me in? Even though I'm being psyop, could you? I have celiac disease and I'm batshit crazy.
Wait, Danny, let me hear you create a clip about Darren LaHood and how he forced you to take a COVID-19 vaccine, or he was going to fire you from your job.
What's gonna happen?
I don't know, but I submitted my finalized federal complaint today, and I had some feedback on it. That coworkers said that it was amazing, but I did notice there were some spelling errors, unfortunately.
You didn't run into a grammatical error?
Well, it doesn't really matter because it's just like my email response, but they're going to issue me a summary investigation after they conduct the investigation. And then the lawyer from the union, she said based on their response, she will determine whether or not she wants to represent me. But I think there's a good chance that she will, because the person that I filed the complaint against is so widely disliked by so many people.
Is that me?
No. It's somebody at the U.S. Treasury. So...
You ain't got no money we could take. What are you talking about?
I know.
I know. Doc, you're a millionaire, though.
Yeah, I am.
You're smart.
His mother was smart.
For a long time.
His mother
I still
made the
I still
fortune.
haven't even gotten my inheritance from her yet. She was gone in 21.
Are you serious? Well, aren't you getting a monthly stipend?
No, I don't get anything.
Oh. Well, anyways, your mom was successful,
Y'all
was she
think I could
not?
live it? Yeah. Yeah. When she died, she's worth like 20 mil.
Wow. That's big money. That's real success.
Yeah, I think she gave away about 18 of it.
Oh my gosh. Where did she bury it?
Well, she started a battered woman's shelter,
Oh wow.
and a lot of it went to Habitat for Humanity.
Do you think
A
there's
lot of
battered men's shelters?
Rotary Club, stuff like that.
Yeah, Rotary's big. What do you think about battered men's shelters? I've never seen a men's health clinic, and I've never seen a battered men's shelter. Why do you think that is? I mean,
Because nobody cares about men.
I know.
All I know about battered men is that my friend was working at a battered women's shelter, and then there was a transgender woman who, as we all know, is a man. So this was a battered man who was living as a battered woman, basically a man pretending to be a battered woman. And he or she gained entry into the battered women's shelter, and then what do you think?
Rape.
No, but what's one step below rape?
Physical sexual assault.
Jerking off outside the window.
Oh, whoa. Fucking what?
And did it to 3 women in a row. So the transgender woman would sneak out of the building and go jerk off outside of somebody else's window. Oh, you can't make this shit up, bro.
Prime candidate for chemical castration, right
It's
there.
like, okay, we'll have our first transgender woman ever. Don't do anything creepy like, jerk off your male penis outside of the women's bedrooms and everything will be fine. Oh, that's literally the first thing you want to do? You want to jerk off outside of their bedroom window and come on the wall outside of the house? That's what you're going to do? Okay, that's exactly what I was afraid of, but sure, go ahead. Go for it.
All right, I've rebranded the room to the MAGA USA Clown House Party. You are now all at the official party and barbecue roast with Doge MAGA.
And we're going to be using a GB57 to set the barbecue on fire.
Yeah, create shorts. Put them everywhere. LinkedIn. I mean, oh my gosh, some of that video, probably get a lot of views with it on YouTube.
Yeah, I should do something with that.
Can't you try to sell Rewild franchises?
I was trying to get you to fucking do one. The sad thing is, Rewild Maine already is a Rewild franchise.
Yeah.
Except I'm not the one selling it.
Yeah.
And my friend who started Rewild Portland cut me off because he said I became a right-winger.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Girls Gone Wild?
No, but I actually used to work in the same building as the owner of the Girls Gone Wild brand. It was in Westwood, where RT Studios also was, which was Russia Time or whatever it is, Russia Today. But yeah, that company eventually shut down operations that I was working for. But one of the guy, his name is Scott Lynn. He's very wealthy, and he has this company called Masterworks, where he actually does crowd share funding for investments in rare pieces of artwork. And I mean, that company is probably worth like a couple $100 million at this point, if not like $1 billion. And yeah, he was not that cool of a guy, I think very successful people, many of them are like extreme psychopaths, sexually, manipulation, financially, like they always have an angle. And that's one of the reasons why they are able to achieve a lot of success. But with great success can come lawsuits and everything else. But I'm trying to figure out what are the real components of success. Like when Donald Trump says, I don't know what these two countries' problems are, fuck them both. He's...
I'm literally watching that right now.
See, I love Trump because he really has like an American position.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
don't know what the fuck they're doing. Don't you fucking love that guy?
Dude, I'm like, that's my commander in chief.
People on this app have horrible TDS. They really think that he's. You know, I don't know if you know what Krasnov is, but that's what's considered his Russian spy code name, and people really believe it. That he is essentially a co-opted and blackmailed president, and that he's the stupidest person in the world, and the only people they hate more are the Republicans in Congress. It's just, man, I mean, I'm telling you, like, I'm glad that, like, I've finally started organizing on behalf of Republicans, because if Republicans aren't highly organized, the Democrats will become, like, they're already the political industrial complex, but they're the biggest group of hypocrites you could ever meet. They're just do-gooders who talk, and it's all politics, but they'll never cut spending because they're nothing but communists and socialists. And Bernie Sanders, I don't know if you saw the Joe Rogan interview with him, but Joe Rogan destroys him over and over and over again because Bernie Sanders' narrative is bullshit. He's a fucking pickle farmer and he's worth $10 million. So he's full of shit. And they spent $1.5 billion on Kamala's campaign, and Elon Musk only spent like $150 million or something. So everybody lives in clown world and in a Democrat industrial complex, and the opposition, aka the Republicans, they're not well organized, and there's tremendous infighting, and there's incredibly stupid and creepy people in the Republicans as well. So, but on the Democrat side, it's like tenfold. The whole thing is like a clown world. I mean, if anybody believes in genital mutilation and cutting off children's, private parts and performing transgender surgeries on minors, if anybody goes to a library to have a trans man sing songs to your children, like, these are people that have to be essentially doxxed and reported for being mentally retarded and stupid. There's just like no place for that type of behavior, I believe, in our society. Some people may call that transphobia, but you know what? It's not a phobia. It's essentially understanding what these people are all about, which is politics. Because really, it's just a form of gaslighting. It's like very subversive politics. Anyways, I'm about to hop in a cold shower because it's 90 degrees in my apartment. Then I'm calling an Uber to go meet this girl at Federales for tacos. What are you all doing this magnificent MAGA USA Clown House party?
Let's all give you good vibes on your date. For tacos.
Taco Tuesday's always, Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, tacos for Edmund.
Tacos para todos, everyone. Welcome to los Estados Unidos.
The Mexican kind and the furry kind. Love me a good furry taco.
However he likes them.
Me gusta la pinky taco. So I kicked Ron out earlier because that's definitely like somebody's burner account or something. I thought it.
Who?
Ron. Who's Anon? So the name of my burner account that everybody loves to hate because I'm recording them is called Anonymous, which is kind of funny. Shit, maybe I shouldn't have said that because now they're gonna search for the name and find it.
They already found it. They pulled up. I was in a room. Was her name Elena?
Yeah, she thinks she found it. Nobody has found it because I've never clicked on any profiles. So like, it has no friends, and it's always been private.
But she took a screenshot of all your different profiles.
Oh, I know. She's trying to create a database of me, which I love. It means I'm doing something right. It means people have to keep track of me. Which shows that, like,
I can't even talk 2 sentences before she kicks me out of a room.
Just God bless her,
And we're not friends. I don't like you. You have been removed from the room.
Okay, so I'm gonna step away from my phone here, but I'm gonna leave it on. I'm gonna go on mute. Requit is here. Carmen, welcome. Anon, come up on the stage if you want. Invite people to the room. This is the MAGA USA Clown House party in the Amir Terrorist Supporters House.
What's new, Danny?
I just had pasta made for me. It's pretty good. It has beans in it.
That sauce just goes.
Peas, beans, carrots, tomatoes, yams, lambs.
What kind of pasta is that? They got a white sauce on it?
We got a requit.
Hey,
We
like
got a
pink
requit
sauce.
down there. We got a classic requit.
Maybe a vodka sauce. I don't know what he did.
We got this man not sure.
At least something I wouldn't eat.
I invited requit.
Cornbread. Pick that. Nobody wants to see you licking your tail.
It was really hot all day and now it's raining.
About 84 outside right now. Got the front door open and the ceiling fan on, so it's not that bad. It's just nice and cool in here.
I cut a big tree today, and then I cut it up into little pieces.
I always like playing with my chainsaw.
Tonighters.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed this little podcast, Jack.
You know, the entire Israel always tends to violate the ceasefire. They've done it with Lebanon, Gaza, West Bank, Syria. They've done it multiple times. There's a track record.
It was a bit of a show, wasn't it? Like, it feels like, not even Hollywood, it feels like Bollywood. Like, you know, they go bomb, like, you know, sites that there's nothing there. And then he says it's over, and then Iran throws some rockets and warns them beforehand, and then out comes Trump. He's the hero, and he calls for ceasefire. It feels like a bit.
This is a new way of war. I just don't get it. Even when they were going back and forth a long time ago, Iran would, say something in the Axios news. They would face it that they're about to do the attack, and Israel or somebody they did the same thing. They're about to do the attack. I just don't get it, man.
No, I know why Iran did it. Iran, I think, did that to save, like, okay, we have to retaliate, but we don't want America involved because it's just gonna go shit, you know. So here we go. We're gonna throw some so that people they can tell their people, look, we've done something. But the funny part is, okay, well, you know, we've got America here, Trump there, and then he's like, oh, now he's swearing on national TV and acting like the peacekeeper. I don't know if you listened to the speech of the foreign minister of Iran and how he's like, he started this and now he's the peacemaker. Like, so contradicting. And it's so funny.
Yep, you're right about that. Amir, did you vote for Trump? Mr. Amir,
What do you think?
No, I never did.
Amir, what do you